you very much. So please introduce yourselves in the chat box. Let me know. Okay, hi Juliet. Thank you for joining us from Abuja. George from Abuja. Let us know where you're joining us from. If you're joining us from outside the country, please just say your name and where you're joining us from. From Ogun State. Oh, hi, please. From Ogun State. Godwill from Cross River. Bimisala from Ibadan. Oh, wow. Irene from Uganda, from Ghana. Wow, we have so many people from different parts of the world joining us today. Thank you guys for being here. Now, let me tell you one secret. One very important thing is this. You have taken the bold step to join this webinar today. You've taken the first essential step to achieving the academic goal that you want. From Cameroon, from Guinea. Wow. We have so many people joining us today from different parts of the world. Now, let me ask you a question. I have one question to ask you. Let me know in the chat box. Let me know in the chat box. Why do you think, or what is one thing that you want to achieve from this webinar? Let me know one thing, one significant thing that you want to learn from us today. Just let me know in the chat box. One thing you would like to learn. For me, I'm here to learn from Miriam. I want to hear from her wealth of wisdom. So let me know what you're here to learn from, or who you're here to learn from, and what you want to learn. I please put it in the chat box. Let us know what you're here to learn and one good thing you want to do. How to get into graduate school application. Okay. How to move from failures to success. Very good. What else? Any other person? Let us know in the chat box what you're here to learn. How to learn about admission application techniques. Okay, explore many scholarships, opportunities, grad school application. Okay, these are all amazing things. And that shows that your minds are in the right place. And that is the most important part of this. So very quickly, we're just going to go ahead and start um, with today's webinar. Now, I'm going to talk very quickly about what you will learn from us. Now, number one thing, I've seen all the many things, winning essay for fully funded opportunities, how to ace interviews, very good things. Now, let me tell you what we have packaged for you guys. Number one, how to avoid rejections during the application processes. Now, let me tell you something. I've experienced rejections before, and while Miriam speaks to you, she'll tell you about the multiple rejections she herself has experienced in the past. Now, we're going to be giving you the rubrics of how to avoid that going forward. Number two, getting funded offers, very important. Some of us cannot go to graduate school with kind of financial support. And I understand that the economy in Nigeria does not even help matters. So we're going to be sharing techniques on how to secure fully funded offers overseas. And then you're also going to learn from our partners who are sponsoring today's event. PESA, they are the sponsors of today's events. They completely funded this event at no expense to you. So they are going to be helping you learn how to transact in foreign currencies without any charges. And there are no hidden charges as well. But they are going to go a little bit further on that when it's their time to speak. And then we're also going to be doing a special, which is application reviews. We're going to be going through different applications that we're going to be giving you a live application review during this session, and also profile reviews, because your application profile is just as important, if not more important, than what you put into your essay. And the most important thing we ask of you, of all these things we're going to be bringing to you, there's one thing we need from you. Give us your mind. Let your mind be opened. We need your mind to be open throughout this process, which is very important. Now, we encourage you to, follow our Telegram group. If you haven't, we're going to be sharing tips and strategies through the Telegram group. Some of you registering for this webinar, you'll be redirected there in the past, and we're going to encourage you to do that. Links will be dropped in the chat box. I'm sure that our team are already working on that to drop links in the chat box of how to join these very many groups. So please, let's You're going to see the links in the chat box shortly of how you can join all our groups as well as especially the Telegram group. So now I'm going to be calling on Miriam, the founder and CEO of this organization and the instructor of this. In fact, Miriam holds a big place in my heart. Let me just tell you guys, okay? She's a wealth of knowledge. I can always run to her for anything, okay? And I'm very happy that we're able to get her to join us for this webinar. And you're going to learn from her. You're going to hear her experiences. You're going to see how graduate school has transformed her life from a girl who started from Ibadan to a renowned doctorate and lawyer exec
Fantastic.
in
Look at
Canada
what
right now, doing amazing things for Africans.
fantastic.
Let me make it very clear. She doesn't work with getting, but she also does this great work in Canada as well, supporting Africans and making sure that their businesses, their profit, their money game is on point. So
Right.
I'm going to welcome her now, and I want us to give her a round of applause. Okay, you can unmute and clap wherever you are. And I mean, I could go on and on. Like she has won so many awards. Let me just give you a
Thank
few.
you so
Wait,
much.
wait. All
Thank
of you
you
wait.
so much.
About some of the awards she has won in the past. She got the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship that took her to the University of Cambridge in London, where she did her LLM degree, fully funded for that matter. And then she also got the prestigious Venier Scholarship in Canada, where she took a doctorate degree. That's not all. She also won the Emerging Academic Award at University of Toronto. She has won the Delta Kappa Gamma World Fellowship. She won the New College Doctoral Fellowship. She won the Law Faculty
Thank you
SJ
so much,
Fellowship of
Jimmy.
the University of
Thank
C.
you so
Yeah,
much.
you're in for a treat,
Thank
everyone. So
thank
let's
you so much.
let's let's allow her and
Thank
let's
you so
welcome
much.
her again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you for that introduction. Thanks, PESA, for sponsoring this webinar. And thanks to everybody that is here. See, my name is Miriam. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. You know why? I think if somebody is teaching you, they need to justify why they're teaching you. What do you think about that? I am a teacher, so it's going to be extremely interactive. So I hope you have your keypads ready because I need you to respond and let us know, I just respond to the questions that I have. So it makes sense, right? If I'm going to be teaching you how to turn rejection into acceptance, you need to understand who I am. You need to know my story. You need to know what gives me the credential to do this. So I appreciate Jimmy's fantastic introduction, but I always like to go back to my roots. And the reason is that I think a lot of us see the end of the story without seeing how things started. So this is how my journey started. So Abdullah said he's joining from Ibadan. I grew up in Ibadan. I studied law at the University of Ibadan. This is me. The first picture is me at the library. And then the second picture is me at law school. And why is it important for me to show you these images? Because it's very easy to see this. It's easy to see me now. And it's easy to forget, that everybody started from somewhere. And one of the reasons why Getting exists, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about us, is to help everyone have access to education, the best education possible, irrespective of your background. So, as I said, I grew up in Ibadan. And I ended up getting a Commonwealth scholarship to do a master's at Cambridge. I'm doing a PhD at University of Toronto, and hopefully by the next time we're having a webinar, it will be Dr. Mamadou instead of Miriam Mamadou. That's the hope. And the reason why it's so important to have these conversations about where we start and and the journey is because you need to understand that you can also do it, right? I'm going to spend a bit of time working on our mindset before I talk to you about rejection and the strategies that we use. So a bit more about me. So I finished from University of Ibadan and I did my master's at Cambridge. I've gotten over $250,000 in scholarships, and I'm the founder of Getting Edu. Now, Getting Edu is a social enterprise that helps Africans get into the top schools in the world. Name the school, whether it's Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, whatever school you can imagine, we have our students who've been there. And how do we do this? We do this by teaching you strategies strategies that make your application stand out. If you've ever been at any of my webinars, I tell everyone that there's no application I put in now that I'm not going to get it. It's only if that application, maybe for some reason, the universe believes it's not the right opportunity for me. And it's not because I'm a superhero. It's because I know certain tricks. It's because the team has systematically studied the application patterns, right? And we know the way to put an application together, or to teach you how to put an application together such that no matter what you apply for, you are definitely going to get selected. If we're in here, can we just mute ourselves? This is a very serious session. We're here with people who are looking to change their lives.
Miriam, you're muted.
Team, can we please find who is muted so that we can be able to focus seriously on this session? As I said, this is a session for people who are very keen on changing their lives. So if you don't have a pen and a paper, I hope you can get one, because it's going to be really loaded with strategies. So Getting for the past 6-7 years has been helping people get into universities all around the world. And today we're going to share this strategy. Sorry, can we try and figure out how to we have one or two people who are unmuted. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so can you hear me? Because I want to be sure that I'm not muted. I think you can hear me. Fantastic. So,
yes, we can.
Fantastic. So
yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So now, for those of us on this webinar, this is perhaps one of the most important webinars that we host every year, because it's coming from a place of vulnerability. Most of us have either been rejected before, or we're looking for ways not, to avoid rejection. But before we can even talk about rejection and how to turn that into acceptance, the first thing you need to understand is, what is your why? Why do you want to go to grad school? Why do you want to get a master's? Why do you want to get a PhD? Can somebody tell me in the comments, why do you want to get a master's? Why do you want to get a PhD? I need you guys to stay with me, okay? Because all of this information is extremely important. If you don't understand your why, if you don't understand your how, if you don't understand your when, you're not going to be able to figure out your where and your how to get in. Okay? So somebody says, maybe says, and I said this is very interactive. If you have a friend, maybe you've been talking about, we want to go to grad school, we want to get a master's, we want to get a scholarship. If you have a friend that you care about and they're not on this webinar here with you, I want you to get the link. Tim, can we put the link in the chat? I want you to give them the direct link to join this webinar. If you have a friend, you don't want to give yourself the extra work of telling them, oh my goodness, I joined this webinar, here's what I learned. If you have a friend who you've been talking to them about, changing your story, using education as a platform, right? Please send the link to them. The team is going to drop the link in the chat. Just send it to them, let them join us. So I'm going to be reading your why, okay? Again, you're going to get the best from this webinar if you participate. So someone says personal and career development, okay? Maiwa says increase my chances of career advancement. Ismail, okay, personal career advancement. Miriam, my namesake, to grow professionally, to acquire scientific skills, to create a better life. My why is family and sustainability. I want to get to grad school because I want to have a successful career. Fantastic. Personal growth, to have a better future. Personal career advancement, to access opportunities for my family. Absolutely valid reasons. And those were my reasons as well. You see, this young girl, this is me in the cafeteria as a 500 level student eating jollof rice, in my university in Nigeria. And I just had a big dream. I said, you know what? I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to dance. I don't have any special talents per se, but I can use education as a platform to get the life that I desire. So education to me, going to grad school, getting that master's was not because of just the master's, right? It was because I wanted a pathway to a better life. I wanted to be able to, to create a better life for my family. I wanted to have a career that was blossoming. I wanted to be able to be at the top of my career. And so the decision you make today on whether you're going to apply again, whether you're going to try again, or whether you're going to try for the first time is actually going to make a world of difference in what your outcomes are. So I'm spending the time to convince you to open your heart and to open your mind. A lot of times people say, oh, well, you hear of somebody who got something, or this person got a scholarship fully funded to the US, they've gone with their family, and you wonder, is this real? Is it real? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's real, because if you don't believe it's real, then it cannot happen for you. Now, what has happened to me since I decided to pursue that master's, since I made that one decision to leave my comfort zone, right? Since I made that one decision to leave my comfort zone and pursue that master's. And I'm saying I'm spending this much time on mindset because I know that there's some of you here who are about to give up. Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know in the comments, because if there's nobody here that's about to give up, then I can just come and teach you guys the technical part and you don't need the encouragement. But if there's somebody here, I can tell, I can just tell you are about to give up. You're just like, I've tried, I'm done. If you are here, I need to spend some time so I guess I'm right. So I can see so many people in the comments saying, I was about to give up, I've been lost, I've been hopeless, I'm done, I'm over it. If you give up now, you're not going to know what how the story can unfold. This young girl here, I'm telling you, and when I have these webinars, my team is always like, Miriam, I can't help but be vulnerable. Because for me, what I'm doing here is a life's work. It's a life's work to build the next generation of African leaders. It's a life's work to help you be the person that will change the trajectory of your family. Using education, not using crime, not using fraud, not using anything that is distasteful. Using education, using something legitimate. Africa, Nigeria can change if we have the right people access the right opportunities. So I've seen so many people here say they're almost giving up. Now, if I didn't dare, here are the things I would have missed. Here are the fantastic opportunities that I would have missed. This young girl here never imagined the rooms that she has walked into. And the only thing I've done, and I keep saying it, I don't know anyone. My father died when I was 2 years old. My mom is a lawyer, but we don't necessarily have connections. I don't know any famous people. I don't have any big last name, right? The only thing I have, and which is what I'm giving to you today, is the access that good education can give. And all of you deserve it. And that's why I'm going to teach you what to do. So if I had given up, or if I didn't dare to dream, I wouldn't have had a fully funded opportunity to go to Egypt to participate at the World Youth Forum. I wouldn't have moderated a panel at the World Trade Organization. Myself and a few of my colleagues from Cambridge, we put together a panel, and the room was so full that people were sitting on the floor to hear us speak. All of this started because I said, I'm going to get a master's. I'm going to apply no matter what. I wouldn't have had a fully funded, opportunity to go to Thailand to participate at the Harvard Institute Global Law and Policy Workshop. I wouldn't have won the Emerging Scholar Award at the University of Toronto and a million other awards that I've gotten. All because I said, I'm going to pursue this opportunity. I couldn't have imagined any of this, but I didn't give up. And I had a dream, and I said, nobody's going to dictate to me how big I should dream. I wouldn't have been in France last year at the Dior store with executives from Dior and UNESCO. This is me. I never imagined this, and all of this is because I pursued an education, right? All of this from education. This is me doing press rounds in France, meeting with the Minister of Equality in France, all because I chose not to give up. I'm not special. I'm trying to let you guys know. I'm not special. If I can do it, you can do it. And we have evidence of our scholars who never imagined what they could do. And we're going to be having a couple of webinars in the next few weeks. And I'm going to bring people who, just like you, they joined the webinar, not knowing that they were about to enter the catalyst of their lives. They joined a boot camp, they joined a webinar, and now their lives have changed. We're going to bring them. So if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, it's important that you are, so that you can, See people so you can believe that this is real. If you can see it, you can also do it. Okay? But of all the things I've achieved, my biggest achievement actually is this: being able to take care of my family, being able to have a career. Last summer, I was able to bring my mom to Canada. She had a good time, went to Niagara Falls. We did so many things. It's the biggest achievement I have is being in a position now to be able to provide that lifestyle for her. It's not in all the accolades because of the sacrifices that she has made. So, and maybe this resonates with you. Maybe you have somebody who has paid so much of a sacrifice and you're like, when am I going to be in the position to pay this back? Maybe. I'm always very vulnerable in my webinars because it's not enough to tell you the technical things. You need to know the motivations as well. So is somebody encouraged here? Because we're going to get into the technical dimensions today. Is somebody encouraged here? Again, if you have someone that you think should be here, I want to encourage you to send them the link. I'm encouraging you to send them the link. Thank you. KFA says my mom is beautiful. Yeah, I got it from my mama. So, yes. So now that we have the right mindset, so I want you to say, I'm going to try again. Again, you're going to keep chatting. I'm going to keep asking you to chat. Oh, I'm going to try. If you've not tried before, say, I'm going to apply again. If you've applied before, say, I'm going to apply again. If you haven't applied before, say, I'm going to apply. Because you cannot imagine how much your life would change if you decide to keep going. Fantastic, 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 fantastic. Okay. Good. I love this. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Fantastic. So now I've told you a bit of my story, right? And I'm going to keep telling you more as we keep going along. But now I want to turn it over to you. All right? Why do you think your graduate school application was rejected? If you've been rejected before, why do you think your application was rejected? Can you tell me in the chat? Please, if you're not muted, please mute yourselves. Okay? Somebody says, why do you think your application was rejected? Okay, Ademola says not being competitive enough. Okay, Faye says I didn't sell myself enough. KFA says competition. And I'm going to tell you one of the mindset tricks that I'm going to give to you guys. And the reason why competition, Peter says competition, fantastic. I'm going to address that question of competition. Competition should not be the reason why you think you are rejected. You know why? Because in a competition, there's always a winner. Your job is to make sure that you're the one who wins. When I apply for things, the Women in Africa fellowship that I got, and again, it's the strategy that I teach in the bootcamp that even helped me get all those other things as well. The Women in Africa fellowship that I got, there were how many thousand applicants, and they selected 10, and I was one of them. From the moment I submitted my application, I knew I was going to get selected. So the strategies we teach in our bootcamp, and some of the strategies I'm going to teach you today, if you open your mind to it, you are always going to be one of the most competitive people in the room. And I say it with my full chest. There is almost nothing. I don't know if anybody was here at the webinar we did last year where I told you that I was applying for something. If you were here, please bear witness to me. I told people, I said, I've applied for an opportunity. This opportunity is extremely competitive, but I'm going to get it. And that is because I know some of the strategies. The team, we've studied this process. Makinde said it was there. We've studied this process. So we know what you need to put in your application. And if you are receptive, fantastic. So Makinde and Ebi, this was the opportunity that I applied for the Women in Africa. And I got it out of, I think, 3,000 applications. So don't let the fact that there's competition be why you think you are rejected. No, it is that your application was not the most competitive, and we're going to need to fix that. Okay? Someone said my interview could have been better. Good. I cannot point out why, despite asking them. Okay. I should write more compelling essays. Okay. I don't have a strong academic portfolio. Academics is not the only reason either. SOP wasn't strong enough, okay? Strong work and research background. Oh my goodness, there's so many things I can teach you guys today. It's just unfortunate that we have just a limited scope of what we're going to teach. But if you ever do join our bootcamp, you're going to get everything that addresses all of these different concerns. So I lack research experience. We talk about how you can get that research experience as well. Okay, somebody said, Akim, all of you remember with limited funding. So Ade Tuobo says, I'm 45 years old. Can I get a scholarship? Absolutely. The only thing is that your own application will be different from others. And those are the things that we discuss in our bootcamp. When you are submitting an application, the whole point is to sell your uniqueness. Okay? It's to sell your uniqueness. Somebody said, mine was rejected because a letter of recommendation contained the exact same descriptions in my CV. Yeah, so that means you probably wrote the recommendation for the person who prepared it and they could tell, okay? So I can say all your reasons and we're going to be addressing some of them as we go along. But the one thing I also want to acknowledge, and we've already started to do that, which is why I actually love this group, we acknowledge that rejection hurts, okay? We've acknowledged that, but we've decided that we're going to try again. Now, we're doing the second point, which is we're being honest with our feedback. If you wrote your application 2 days before the deadline, please, can you raise your hand in the comments? Can you raise your hand? See, you have to name and shame me too. If that's what you did, just raise your hand. Confess. Because I know that there are some of us here. Yes, let's be honest. I'm not here to sell you a dream without the work. I won't do that. There is the work. If you want results, hey, I can see, look, you see, Eberichi, I love that. Onyilola, Chukwebeka, fantastic. There's no need to lie. Some of us know. We submitted a day before. We started looking for the school 2 days before, or we saw a link on Twitter that says, there's this scholarship available. You say, okay, let me apply. We're not doing that this year. You now say I was rejected. Say, I'm not sabotaging myself this year. If Hope said even on the actual day, Hope was having hope that somehow magic will happen. How can you be as competitive as somebody who has been preparing for 3 months? How can somebody who submits their application the day or 2 days to the deadline be as competitive as somebody who gets on this webinar today and starts to take steps before September? How? It's not possible. You that you're here and you are taking the right steps, you will definitely have a better application. Okay? So be honest with yourself. Don't just say, oh, they rejected me for whatever reason without being honest with what you probably didn't do right. Now, the next point is this. If you've been rejected, I need you to acknowledge that you cannot do things the same way. If you did things the same way, even if you didn't submit the last minute, even if you prepared an application, there's something that didn't make that application work. So therefore, you cannot afford to do things the same way. A different strategy is necessary. Okay? George says, I'm looking forward to having remote research opportunities to be more competitive. Yes, we need to have a different session on profile building, but I think I'm going to limit that one to the people in our bootcamp who eventually join the bootcamp, because profile building is very relevant to getting opportunities, right? So you cannot afford to do things the same way and expect different results. The other thing you need to do is to follow experienced people and surround yourself with a community. Now, when Getting started offering the bootcamp a few years ago, we didn't have a community that we have now. But after like a year or two, we realized that one of the biggest challenges was people going on this journey on their own. Okay? So you need to figure out who is your community. And that's why I asked you, if you have a friend that you've been talking about this, don't be a gatekeeper. If you have a friend that you've been talking about this, get them and join so that they can be part of this community. And the only person that has failed is the person who decides not to try again. So I'm glad that we've all agreed to try again. Now, these are people who, just like you, they decided that they were going to change their life through education. They decided to put in the work. They decided to put in the strategies. Somebody got into Oxford. Somebody got a master's in data science analytics with a full assistantship and tuition waiver at George State University. These are people in our community. And I'm just showing you that a community will keep you going even when you're tired. Okay? Now, what are the common reasons for rejection? Please, if you don't have a pen and a paper, I know all of you are brilliant and you will keep all the information in your head. But I want to encourage you to please get a pen and a paper, or at least open your phone and start typing. As I said, I'm a teacher. I actually teach at University of Toronto as well. But I need you to get a pen and paper and start writing. Now, one of the reasons why people get rejected is poor essays. And we're going to have, I don't know if you know, we're going to have a bit of a review session at the end. So that I'm not giving you just, a high level. I want to give you some practical tips that you can use as you're going forward. Now, one of those things is poor and copied essays. For some of you, your plan is to use ChatGPT to write your essays. It will not work. It won't work. So let us cancel that mindset. Some of you are looking for template essays. If you join the Getting community, you join our bootcamp, we don't give templates. We don't give templates. I will say it with my chest today, tomorrow, and next year. We will not give you a template. Why? Because a template is the beginning of the end. Once you have a template, it restricts your creativity, and it also makes you susceptible to being thrown into the garbage pile because other people are following that template. When you follow a template, you cannot stand out. This whole application process that we are doing, it is in a game of how can I stand out fast? Somebody, I need you to let me know that I'm making sense in the comments. This application for whether it's a scholarship, whether it's a fellowship, and I'm going to do other sessions on like fellowships and things like that. But today we're talking about grad school scholarships. It is a game in how do I stand out the fastest? So in the bootcamp, you will not get a template, you will get structure. You will get structure such that you're not even going to learn how to use these strategies just for applications for master's and PhD. Whether if it's jobs, if it's fellowships, if it's grants, you will use that same structure to learn how to stand out. Think about it. 5,000 people, 10 spots. It is the people who stand out that are going to be selected. So technically, this is like a beauty pageant, but it is for standing out. Okay, so if you've submitted applications that they are just like any other person's application, there isn't anything that they see in the application immediately that makes them go, okay, who is this? You are not among the top people. You're not among the 1%. If you read your application and you can't say, okay, wow, interesting. If you cannot have that response to your own essay, how does somebody else want to have that response to your essay? Are you guys getting my point? Can somebody articulate for me the point I just made? I said, this is a competition of standing out. That is the summary of this whole session. You are going to learn how to stand out. Okay? If you yourself cannot, yes, uniqueness. If you yourself cannot look at your essay and say, anybody who sees this is going to be like, okay, very interesting. I'm curious to learn more. If your essay, your application, your resume does not have that response, you are not on the right track. Okay? And some of you will say, oh, I haven't done all these big things. It's not about that. As I said, profile building is something I'm going to reserve for the people in our bootcamp because I cannot give you guys everything. Okay? But if you don't know how to package your documents such that it gives that wow factor, yes, Jumbo, you are not on the right track. So go back to your essays and ask, do I have the wow factor? You will know, and we'll talk about this a bit more. The second point, the reason why some of you are rejected in the past is no clear focus and direction. For some of us, immediately people read your essays, they can tell that you're actually not interested in that opportunity. You are interested in the opportunity for what it can give you, which is maybe you want to travel abroad, right? You want to Jakpa, let's say. You're not showing that the technical subject matter, because this is an educational thing, right? If you're applying for something for water or waste management or agricultural sciences, then it has to be clear that this is your focus. You cannot have worked in a bank, but you're the one who is applying for a degree, a master's in microbiology, because your undergrad is in microbiology. If your undergrad is in microbiology, but you spend the past 10 years working in a bank, how are you going to convince someone to give you an opportunity for a master's in microbiology? How do you want to convince them? It's not clear. Or you have a side hustle that is tailoring, and then you work in a bank, but you want to pursue a master's in data science, and you've not done your application in a way that you are able to put that story together. You will not be selected because there's no clear focus and direction. You cannot be everything to everyone at the same time. So I do a lot of things. Please, I need you guys to let me know that things are happening in the comments, because when the comment is dry, it means that I'm not passing across my message. I do a lot of things. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a lawyer. I have this organization, Getting, this social enterprise that I do. I'm a teacher. I do so many things, but I am not everything to everyone at the same time. If I'm applying for something that has to do with the law, you may not see me talk about Getting so much, right? If I'm applying for a grant to help people access education, I may not emphasize the fact that I'm a lawyer so much. So you have to figure out how your life experiences fit into each other so that when you put in your application, it has a clear focus and direction. I've worked with people that they say, oh, this is what I do, this is what I'm trying to apply for. And we figure out how to get the bridge to connect those two experiences or more together. Another problem that I see, and again, this is also a mindset work, is not understanding and conveying your value. Now, for some of us, we don't even know what we bring to the table. Okay? We don't even know what we bring to the table. Some of us don't know the value. So you want to apply. Can somebody tell me the program they want to apply for in the comments? You want to apply for a master's in development studies. But you cannot, if I ask you, you cannot tell me what you are going to bring to the table. You can only think about what you want to get from that table. That's a mindset shift you need to have. Because in your applications, okay, there's this joke I always crack, and I'm sure some of you would know it. How many of you, maybe this is for the ladies, or maybe the gentlemen, I don't know. Let's see. How many of you, maybe you have been single for a long time. The moment you enter into a relationship, that is when all the possible, suitors start to show up. Has anybody experienced that before? The moment you say, yes, I'm going to be your boyfriend, I'm going to be your girlfriend, you have like 15 different suitors coming from the blues that you never saw before you decided to get engaged. Or the moment you get married, that's when people are like, oh, you are so beautiful. But like, I was here before I got married. Why aren't you looking at me? It's the same thing when you're applying to school. Nobody wants anybody that other people don't want. I want you guys to listen to this. Nobody wants anyone that other people don't want. And you have to, and the only way you can let the school you're applying to know that you are the most wanted is by conveying your value. You want to prepare your application in such a way that the school will be like, if we miss out on this candidate, we may not get another one like this anytime soon. Okay? But the only way you can let them have that feeling is if you know your value. So my question is, ask yourself, for all of you who have mentioned the field you want to apply to. So somebody says biochemistry, international and comparative education. Abigail, what are you bringing to the field of international and comparative education? Loveth, what question, what problem are you solving? What issue are you spotlighting? What are you passionate about in exotoxicology that other people are not seeing? You need to be confident of that value that you're bringing first before you can sell it. I can tell you about my PhD. My PhD is on African regional integration and trade. And what I'm looking at in my PhD is how is the private sector facilitating trade and business in Africa? How are they using law and regulation to do this? There's nobody who is looking at that topic. And so therefore, I will be the authority. And when I applied, even though not all the schools I applied to wanted me, the ones that resonated with what I had to say, They said, we must have you. Because I had something I was going to add to the field. Okay? And I knew my value. So if, as a lawyer that wants to do an MBA, what is your value proposition? Why do you want to do an MBA? There might be many reasons. Do you want to help lawyers become more efficient managers of their practice? Do you want to go into business because your legal perspective provides a different, it gives a different dimension that people aren't thinking about? What is that value? So this is an assignment I'm giving to you guys. And I said, take your pen and paper. I have to look at the time because let me see how many slides. Okay, I have to get through. This is a very crucial slide. So I'm going to give myself just 5 more minutes here. Now, low grades, listen, without remedies. A lot of you think you were rejected because of your low grade. I'm telling you that that's not why. Because we have people who have gotten second class lower or less get scholarships to schools. Victoria, it's not enough to want to study an MBA to meet more likely. It's not enough. That's not, so why would someone give you a scholarship, or the person you're talking about a scholarship just because they want to meet like-minded people? That's not a strong enough reason. Exactly. You get the point. So low grades without remedies. If you have a 2.2 or below, it's not the end of the world. What you need to know is how to arrange and package your application in such a way that even someone with a first class will be rejected. I was rejected from Harvard, even though I had a first class. And this was many years ago, before I knew what I know now. Now, I've helped so many people get into Harvard. Let me just go through our boot camp. Harvard is calling. That's how it is now, because I know what to do differently. But back in the day, I didn't know, even though I had a first-class degree. So it is not that you're rejected because you have low grades, because people who have high grades are also being rejected. It's that your application does not fit the criteria that they need. You haven't been able to sell yourself as the outstanding candidate. Another point is lack of cohesion. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later. Then the next point is fake humility and begging. I've seen this so many times, and let me confess, I've done it too in the past, which is like, this is going to be an opportunity that will change my life. Who cares? Even though it's true, let me tell you, the people who are reading your essay actually don't care about that. How many of you have begged in your essay before? Confess. This is a confession session. This is a safe space. If you've begged before, this is the opportunity that will change my life. And if you've begged, just confess. Because I've done it too, but that's not the way it works. Nobody wants the person who is begging. Everybody wants the person who wants to give them something. You to reason it now. Think about it. If you have two people, somebody says, here's what I have to give you. Another person says, here's what I want to get from you. Who are you going to pick? You're going to pick the person who wants to give you something. I'm going to talk about the bootcamp later, but my team is going to be put this in the comments, because for me, the first thing is, let me teach you guys, what I've planned to teach you. If you want to learn more about how to join the bootcamp, just check the chat. We'll talk about it later, but let's make sure your pen and your paper is ready and you're writing. Okay? Make sure you're writing these points. So another point is, Mayowa said he didn't beg. I love that. Another point is inability. Oh, Mayowa, since you are here and you've done the bootcamp, why don't you let people know what they're missing if they don't join us? Another point is inability to secure a supervisor. Now, for this point, this is also a strategic point. Some of you just apply to schools without thinking, especially for research programs, without thinking it through, that is there somebody in this school that can actually supervise me? Okay, so some of you get rejected, not because your application is not good, but because there is no good match. There is no good match between you and the people who are doing research in your school. So that's also something you need to think about more strategically. Why are you applying to this particular school? Is there actually someone who can supervise you? Then another challenge is neglecting one or more aspects of your application soldiers. I call them application soldiers because it's like you're going to battle. So your documents are your soldiers, your CV, your essays, even the form that you fill. Some people, when they're filling the form, they will say, they will ask you to put some information. You just put it there haphazardly when other people are taking their time to put the thing properly. So you can't ignore any part of your application. Now, what you now need to do as a solution, again, we're going to still have a document review session, but I have to make sure that, Eddie Diong, do I need a supervisor for a master's program? It depends. It depends. We're not really talking that much about that today. As I said, we have a lot more planned in our bootcamp for you guys. But what should you have done? One of the things we should do if you've been rejected, is to apply to school strategically. Unfortunately, I won't have as much time to go into school selection. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take points 1 and 2 together. Apply to school strategically and choose the right program for you. Some of you, you're just applying to, I will keep using Harvard. You're applying to Harvard, but Harvard may not be the best school for you. Do you know that? It might be the best school in the world, but it might not be the best school for you. And it took me a while to learn that, because I am someone who believes I should be able to go to the best school in the world. But the best school in the world may not be the best school for you, or may not be the best school for your program. So for example, if you're a lawyer, you want to study maritime law, that's what you care about, you actually have no business in Harvard. Because that's not where you're going to get the best of the best for maritime law. That's not where you're going to get a supervisor. That's not where you're going to get people who are interested in maritime law. You need to go to Tulane. Tulane University is where they're experts in maritime law. Right? Or you want to work at the World Bank. I mean, nothing wrong with going to Harvard. You want to work at the World Bank, and you're like, oh, I must go to Harvard. I must go to Harvard because I want to work at the World Bank. Right? Actually, that may not be the best school for you. The best school for you might be George Washington School of Law, because it's right beside the World Bank. Students from George Washington School of Law, they do internships at the World Bank every day. It's like World Bank is their cafeteria. They stroll to the World Bank to go and eat lunch and come back. Are you guys getting my point? So you cannot just apply to schools because this is where your friend applied to. And this goes back to the question of, do you know what you want? What are you trying to achieve? Okay. And also, Ado, you said, I have 2 offers. I'm looking for scholarships. Part of applying to school strategically is deciding on the scholarship dimension even before you apply. So let's assume your dream school is Harvard, but you know they don't give scholarships. I'm sorry, my brother and my sister. If a scholarship is a priority for you, there's no need to apply there. If you know that they don't give scholarships, you've done your research, you've done everything we've asked you to do in the bootcamp, you know that there are no scholarships, they don't waste your time. You look for the place that has the scholarship. I always tell my people, follow the money. If you know, for me, I couldn't have afforded any of my education. A master's at Cambridge, a PhD at Toronto. How would I have paid for that? I can't afford it. You don't want to kill my poor innocent mother. You know, it's about ensuring that you're applying to where the money is and tailoring yourself to fit that place and making the best out of it. So Nasir, we do have peer reviews where your peers will review each other's documents, right? But we always take the view that the point of the bootcamp is to equip you, and we're going to start that exercise here, is to equip you so that you yourself know what to do. And that way you can carry that knowledge and transfer it everywhere. I'm not going to be the God that says, okay, once Miriam has approved it, yes. No, you have what it takes. I'm not a gatekeeper. You have what it takes. I'm going to teach you everything. There are people that, even out of my bootcamp, I'm not going to mention names, out of this bootcamp that we do, they've started doing these reviews for other people. That's a big fact. We know them, but we won't mention names because they learned everything here and they're doing very well for themselves. So another thing I'm going to talk about is obviously like the timeline, compiling your application components, drafting an exceptional essay. We're going to talk about the essay component a bit more, preparing for your interviews. Okay, we have a whole session on interview preparation that you can access. I'm just looking at the time. Once it's the top of the hour, 5 minutes, I need to stop. Okay, actually, or maybe I'll give myself a little bit more time. I think I have a little bit more time. So now we've talked about some of the things that, you know, people have done incorrectly and how things can be changed. Now, I want to talk about how to ensure that your application stands out. I'm going to give you just a few points, okay? Just a few points. The first thing I said, I've talked about this already, is a mindset shift. And we've spent some time on this. You need to go in with the mindset that if there's only one person that's going to be selected, that person is going to be me. That's the mindset. And the reason why you need to have that mindset is this. If you have that mindset, you will know the amount of work you need to do, right? Because you know that I'm trying to be the only person selected. So therefore, how do I prepare my application in such a way that, you know, the outcome I'm looking for happens? You need to create sharp, purposeful, impactful documents that demand attention. We talked about it being outstanding. Being outstanding. You need to stop doubting yourself and start projecting confidence. Now, the way to stop doubting yourself is to have some receipts. We're going to talk about that. Is to have some receipts. And I think I should have mentioned that a little bit more here. I'm going to go back to this slide. Now, one of the challenges I find when people are submitting their essays is they submit their essays with a forward-looking perspective. I need you to pay close attention to this and write this down. They submit their essays with a forward-looking perspective, and that is important. Don't get me wrong. You need to say, okay, if I get this degree, here's what I'll be able to do, right? It's important. It's an important part of your essay. But you submit your essay with a forward-looking perspective without including a backward-looking perspective. And what do I mean by backward-looking perspective? You need to ensure that your essay has receipts and evidence of what you have done. Listen very closely. It might sound very simple, but there's also a way to project those receipts and the evidence. As I said, remember my analogy, people want the people who are most in high demand. So your job when you're writing your essay is to also play on that psychology as much as possible. It's not enough to say, when I finish this degree, I will change the world. How have you changed the world already? Even if it is a tiny little portion of the world, they need to see a little evidence that the thing that you said you want to do in the future, you already have the foundation or a potential to do it. And that's what I mean by your evidence and your receipt. So you want to do an MBA. You just say, well, an MBA is the right direction for me so that I can manage businesses in Africa. No, you need to show how, where you're currently working, you were able to make some strategic decisions, right? That save the company XYZ in expenses and increase the revenue by X, Y, and Z. And as a result of that, you were awarded the staff of the month. And you thought to yourself, if you can achieve this and demonstrate this outcome for this business, even without a formal degree, that means with an MBA, you should be able to take that instinct together with the MBA education to be able to affect 1,000 startups in Africa within the next 2 years because you're planning to build an incubator. If I'm moving too fast, tell me, because I know I'm very fast. Does that make sense? You cannot just come and say, I want to do an MBA. My goal is to build the largest incubator in Africa. Who are you? You need to show them who you are to be able to be the person for them to back up your dream. Can somebody relate to what I'm saying? So it's not enough to also say, I was the top of my class. I was top in my class. I was the best graduating student. Okay? When then? That's good. It's good. It's good to be the best graduate student, but you need to make sure that that best graduate student evidence that you are putting, it is connecting to something relating to the program. So you can say, I have demonstrated academic vigor over my past. And this is the difference between a first-class student that will get in and one that will not. Because one will just say, she better have a first class. I have a first class. So just say, oh, I graduated with a first class as the best student. No, that's not enough to say that. You will say, I'm applying for this PhD because I have the academic vigor and rigor to go through, difficult academic programs and still excel. This is evidenced by me graduating as the best graduating student in a cohort of 500 students. So you're not the best graduating, if you say you're just the best graduating student out of how many people? How do they know that you are not the best graduating student out of 2? If I'm going to talk about my Women in Africa program, I'm not going to say I was selected as a Women in Africa fellow. No, I will say I was selected as one of the 10 recipients of the Women in Africa Fellowship out of over 3,000 applicants globally. Is there a difference between the first and the second? Guys, the comment is not buzzing. These tips I'm giving you, hey, you people are just, you're taking it for granted. Hey, you're taking it for granted. These are the small changes that you can make and will make a big difference. So it's not enough to say I graduated as the best student. There's something you are using that evidence to tell, to show. You understand? So let's not write like that, or I'm employee of the year, of the month. It doesn't matter. Employee of the month to what end? Okay, I'm tired and I'm sick. The reason why I do this is today is a Saturday. My son has gone to soccer. I should be with him. But I do this because I really, really, really am tired of seeing people who can have more than they have in life get less because they don't know what to do. And that's my mission. So we also talk about the one document strategy. And maybe this is not the day to go into it in detail. But the one document strategy is a strategy that I teach our students. And it's basically, some of you see your documents as different things. This is my CV, this is my essay, this is my recommendation letter, this is my SOP, this is my academic essay. The truth is, even though they're different documents, you need to see them as if it's one document. And this is how it works. Let me tell you the best. There was a student of ours. She got an MBA into Oxford. I didn't review her essay. No. She got an MBA fully funded into Oxford. And then I asked her, I said, send me your application. Let me see what you submitted. Immediately she sent the application, I could see how she implemented all the strategies in the bootcamp. And one of the strategies she used was the one document strategy. You need to look at your essay as if they're reading a story. So let's assume your CV says you facilitated a program. Oh my God, Maya, why you are a student? This is one of our students. Says, are you sure you won't come and co-facilitate with me next time? It says you don't put all your experience in your CV. You put only the experience relevant to the program you're applying to. That's right, because you can't be everything to everyone. And then not only do you put that experience in your CV, when you are talking about your application essays or your statement of purpose, you are going to select a few of those experiences, right? That maybe was so tantalizing, right? In your CV that you know that they would have been curious about it. You will make sure that in your essay, you expand on it a little bit. You are looking at it as if your CV is your introduction, your essay is your body, your recommendations are your conclusion. If you see your document that way, you will even choose differently who you choose to be to give you a recommendation letter. Because let's say everything you'll be talking about in your essay is law. You now go and get a recommendation from your pastor. I'm sorry now. Why? Why are people doing that? If you've done something like that before, raise your hand in the comments. Confess. I know you've done it. You've done it before. You apply for a program and you go and get a recommendation from. So you see, Chinaza said she has done it. You can't get a recommendation from your pastor. You've not talked about how you've been volunteering, right? There's nothing on volunteering in your documents. You now go and get a recommendation from the person who is leading your volunteering group for whatever you're volunteering for. It doesn't work that way. So let's not do that. So I've told you guys what are the results. We also teach something called the card strategy in our boot camp. And one of the tips in card is C. The C there for card stands for contextualization. And that's one of my favorite things to teach. I'm not going to give you guys the whole strategy because we need to keep something for our boot campers so that they will be the most competitive. The card strategy, C, stands for contextualization. And I've given you a few examples. When I say I was 1 out of 10 out of 3,000, that is contextualization. I am giving you an idea of how big that opportunity was. When I say that, I was awarded XYZ amount of money in scholarship, I'm telling you so you will know that you have to come to me correct though, because I've been getting big money before. So you have to contextualize. Don't just say I was the best graduating student. Out of how many? Don't say you created a new program. How many people did the program reach? Use your numbers to contextualize. This person who is reading your essay doesn't know you. We act and write as if the people reading our essays know us. They don't know us. All they know is what we tell them. Are we good? Are we okay? Are we together? Is anybody motivated? Is somebody saying how to do things differently? Okay, so how can you register for the bootcamp? You can register, I'm going to talk about it, but you can follow the links in the comments for how to join the bootcamp, okay? Now, what are the results that we've gotten? Over 7 million in scholarships by our students. And this bootcamp is the training ground where we spend a lot of time, quite frankly. And that's why I'm so glad that PESA is actually working with us to really amplify the work that we're doing. So let's move. A few examples. I'm not going to, I think I've talked about all of the mindset shift already. So let's talk about this, using this as an example for contextualization. It says, don't just thank PESA, you're going to have to download their app, okay? We're going to show you how to download their app. So look at this example. It says, I worked in Transcorp Group for 3 years and won an award for top rated. What does that mean, people? I worked in Transcorp Group for 3 years. The person hasn't said anything wrong, but the person hasn't said a lot of things that could be said. So what's the difference between the first and the second? I want us to do this critique. Again, we're building us to be strategic thinkers, okay? So look at this difference. It says, for the past 3 years, I served as a lead legal consultant at Transcorp Group. There's a lot of contextualization here. You didn't just work at Transcorp. You were the lead legal consultant at Transcorp Group. What is Transcorp Group? Renowned as Nigeria's top conglomerate for the last 7 years. So not just 1 year, for the past 7 years. What did you do? I established partnerships with more than 150 organizations. You didn't just say I established partnerships. I established partnership with more than 150 organizations. Immediately I read that, I'm like, wow, this is an extremely organized person. You hear me? Then securing investment over $2.5 million. I'm like, okay, wow, this person has taken on a lot of responsibilities. My prowess in closing deals earned me the prestigious Closer of the Year award, highlighting my commitment to excellence. Come on. Do you know that this could be the same person? But because they don't know how to sell themselves, they will sell themselves short. So how many times have you been the first person when you could be the second person? A lot of things are going on right here. The person is doing a lot of contextualization. And bear in mind, contextualization is just one of the strategies that we teach. But look at the difference. How can somebody who submitted the first one compete with the second? And we'll say there's a lot of competition. For the past 3 years, I served as the lead. Somebody in the comment, tell me what is right in this second essay. Because if you don't engage, you won't learn. What is right in this second essay? Again, if you know anyone who needs to be here, please send them the link. For the past 3 years, I served as a lead legal consultant at Transcorp Group, renowned as Nigeria's top conglomerate in the last 7 years. During this tenure, I established partnerships with more than 150 organizations. Yeah, be specific and unique, securing investments of over 2.5 million. They used metrics. Yes. So Clifford, quite frankly, this session right now is free, right? And this is our way of helping. But guess what? There are people on the ground who are making sure that this session works. And if you have an entitlement mentality, the first thing you should say is thank you. Thank you to PESA. Thank you to everyone who has been here on a Saturday, giving you this information for free. You don't have to join the bootcamp if you can't join. We want you to join. But having this entitlement mentality doesn't take you anywhere. So if you want to join us, you can. But even when I'm teaching here, if you can't join the bootcamp, join our webinars. Follow us on social media. We give out so much for free, but the people who are working are also going to need to get paid. Let's not do that. Sorry, I usually don't respond to comments like that, but I find that having that mindset is very limiting. Okay, you need to have an expanded mindset. And PESA is actually sponsoring some people to the bootcamp in recognition of this. Okay, so there's a way you can apply for a special scholars program, but there's one thing we will always do. We will always have some of these live webinars for free because we know that, maybe not everybody can join us, even if you want to, right? But if you're able to, then join. And if you can even sponsor others, then join. Even do that, that would be wonderful, okay? So let's go. No more distractions. So what else? Research. Now that's something that a lot of people don't want to spend time doing. And for us at Get In, we try to get people to get started in this process early. Okay? Because there's a lot of research. I see all your comments, fantastic. There's a lot of research that needs to be done before you're able to actually get the information that you need. And we talk about this a lot more. You know, how do you research your school? Some people will just go to the website of the school and research. That's not enough, oh. That is not enough. When you're doing research, you're going to look at the school's website. You're going to research people who have been there. Okay? You're going to research the social media handles of the school. Now, let me give you guys one of the tips that I teach people when they're doing research, because I know research can be overwhelming. Now, one of the things you can do is something we call the conference hack. And I know my boot campers are going to say, why am I giving this out? But I have to give it out. The conference hack, right, is where you take a conference in your field, right? And I always tell people to try this on their own. Look for a conference in your field and use that as the entry point for your research. So if you are, let's say you are looking for a master's in sociology, Google Sociology Conference, Global Sociology Conference 2024, or Google 2023, Sociology Conference 2023, Sociology Conference USA 2023. You're going to see conferences in sociology. Now, the people who are presenters at that conference, you're going to now look at the schools that they teach. And that is your entry point. Because you know that the schools that they teach have sociology programs. You've saved yourself like 4 hours of research. You know that the schools that they teach will have sociology programs. Now, if you find someone at those conference, right? If you find someone at that conference who is interested in a field you're interested in, you're going to research that person. You're also going to research other conferences that they have spoken at. You're going to research whether they have co-authors on that topic. Those are your potential supervisors. I can't say it more than that, but if you are looking for a way to make your research easier, use the conference hack. Look for a conference in your field. Look for a conference in your field. In fact, I'm going to challenge you to do it right now. Whenever I tell people to do it, they're always like, I challenge you. Look for a conference in your field. Let's say you're in sociology, Google sociology conference, whatever your destination country is, USA, Canada, whatever, or sociology conference 2023. When you find that conference, look at the program, look at the agenda, look at the speakers list. You will see some professors. Those professors look at their sociology programs or your program. Look at the programs that they teach and look at the universities that they teach. Those are schools that you should be targeting. Instead of you looking at a list of 5,000 schools in the US and start looking which one has sociology PhD, which one has sociology masters. By using the conference hack, you've bypassed that. Are you guys getting me? You've bypassed that. You find a professor, right? The conference hack, that's what it's called. So Google again, a conference. Can somebody tell me they're doing this? I need a few people to do this. I usually do a live session, but I know I'm running against time. So let me know your field. Can someone tell me their field? What are you studying? I will find you right now in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so let me see. But the way I'm saying this, you also need to search. Let me look for biochemistry. Okay, so I'm going to Google 20 biochemistry conference. And I'm going to just use USA because I know that the US is a big one. So there is a society called, guys, if it's only, let's say you can't join the bootcamp, it's fine. If it's only some of the things I'm teaching you here, I hope you'll be able to come back and say, Miriam, thank you for this. Because here is what happened after I took steps. You have to take steps. So I found within 2.5 seconds, the American Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, okay? They have an annual meeting. I'm trying to find, I'm going to try and look for, I'm going to try and look for the people who spoke at that conference. This is 2023. Okay, maybe this may work, this may not work. It's not, let me look for this particular one. Okay. Is somebody doing it for their field? Let me see. Well, I can, even before looking at the program for the conference, I can already see funding opportunities available on this website. I can see a lot of funding opportunities available already on this website in just how many minutes? I'm trying to look for, okay, let me look for the annual report, 2023 annual report. Again, there's a lot of research. Okay. All right, I have to scroll. So I found a name. I found a few names. David H. Kahn, PhD, University of Michigan. William V. Giannoble, DDMS, MSc, Harvard University. David Mooney, Wyss University. Charles Spire, University of Pittsburgh. William Wagner, University of Pittsburgh. So that means, for what program are we looking for? Was this microbiology? That means University of Michigan, University of Pittsburgh, and Wyss Institute are things I need to search. Wolabi, I'm literally telling you how to go about it. Google your field, 2023, your field of study, and put conference in front of it. So I just Googled microbiology. Okay. I just Googled microbiology, right? And I Googled 2023 conference. Now I have found an organization, okay? An organization that has an annual report. Is somebody trying this? I'm going to find you guys a scholarship right now in 10 minutes. Okay, fantastic. Oyebimpe said, why not 2024? You cannot use 2024 because the conference may not have happened. You need a conference that's already happened in the past, right? So that you can find the information, right? And then you can find the information, and then you can pretty much, Google the universities there. Is anybody else trying it? Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Yours is UI UX, okay? Somebody has found the American Heart Association. Guys, I can see you guys really fighting for us in the comments, and I love it. But the truth is, it's not everyone who is going to, not everybody is going to get the, what they need from here. If your mind is open, that's all you need. This conference hack alone got someone, okay, here you go. Ife, thank you so much for the testimonial. This conference hack alone got somebody a scholarship to the McCain, the McCain McBain scholarship to Canada to study an MSc in experiential medicine. Her name is Farida, just by being on this webinar. So if you're in the webinar, you are arguing, instead of you to be doing the conference hack, I don't know how I can help you more than this. So let's try and figure out if I can find you a scholarship, because that's what I promised. Okay, so I'm looking for the University of Pittsburgh bio, what did we search? Is it biochemistry? I think that was it. Okay. So let's go. Bio what?
Biochemistry.
Biochemistry. Okay, so let's go to University of Pittsburgh. Okay. And it's going to be like magic. I haven't spent 10 minutes on this. Of Pittsburgh biochemistry. Okay. Biochemistry. University of Pittsburgh. And I'm looking for a master's, isn't it? Graduates. Okay. Program highlights. I can already see that the medium-sized program, blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Guaranteed funding. Guys, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Can you see my screen? I've never Googled this before in my life. I have never Googled this before in my life. And somebody, oh God, I'm sorry, guys. I will take my time, because even if it is just this conference hack that you take on how to find scholarships, I literally should be bottling this and selling it, quite frankly. Afola Shade said, I've seen for mine. University of Pittsburgh has guaranteed funding. I can't send you the link, Miriam. You need to Google for your field. This is what I'm trying to tell us. We have to have that can-do mindset. This says, so Ambassador Onwuka, food biochemistry, Google it. Again, guys, this step is 3 steps. Google a conference in your field. When you find that conference, look for speakers at that conference. I found I found there's nothing special, Cassandra. Google 2023 conference your field. Just Google it. I promise you. Analytical chemistry conference. Maybe analytical chemistry might be a little bit too specialized. Conference Economics 2023 USA. You're going to find professors and you're going to find their universities. Go to the universities of those professors and look at the program that you're looking for. You will see scholarships. It's almost guaranteed. This is within 10 minutes. This says all students are guaranteed 5 years of financial support. Yes, you can use committee members. The people I used are actually committee members. I'm not joking. This is it. 5 years of financial support. So I'm going to move on from this because I think whoever is meant to get this hack today will get it. Okay? I hope this is helpful to you guys. Has anybody else found something? Don't find and hide, because here we are. Everybody who's in biochemistry has something. So if you have a field of study, Clifford, what are you studying? You are complaining in the comments. What are you studying? Google what you are studying, put conference 2023 to find scholarships. And let's take it from there. So I didn't search any university, and I'm not going to tell you again the university that I found because I want you to use the hack. The conference hack is going to find, see, Chika says, I found one on GIS. KFA, if you don't find immediately, you need to refine your search parameters. Okay, so maybe you're looking for a very, very niche field. It may not work. If the conference doesn't work for you, you might want to look for associations. When you look for associations, find out who are the presidents of that association, which schools are they. You have the same thing. Techno says, I found opportunities in my area of specialization. These are not paid people. These are actual human beings who have joined this conference. I don't know anybody here who is commenting. So if there's nothing you take from here, please use the conference hack. And we have so many other hacks that we teach as well. Green, you're welcome. Akede, you're welcome. That's the work we do. Thanks to PESA and thanks to us for making your life a lot easier and helping you find opportunities. But it's not enough to just find the opportunities. You now need to know how to apply for them so that you can actually get it. If some of you are still struggling with the conference hack, when we're done with this webinar, we can wait for a few minutes and I can kind of share my screen and we can run through it again. Okay, but I need to move on because our friends at PESA have a message for us. So we've talked about this. Now, just to ask you guys a question, what is the one thing that you're not doing anymore now that we've talked a little bit? What is the one thing that you're changing? What is the one thing you're going to stop doing today? You're all welcome. You're welcome. I give out this conference hack because I know that sometimes finding the opportunities, you can't be waiting for Twitter to give you opportunities. You have to find opportunities. Let me guys tell you a secret. And I know that people who know me personally who are here, but one of the things I pride myself on is being the first person to find an opportunity. When everybody knows about an opportunity, right, the competition is more. But if you take the time to find these specialized opportunities for yourself, the competition is less. Do you know that you might be the only African who is applying to University of Michigan biochemistry? You might be the only one. Why? Because people don't know about it. Why? Because they've not been spoon-fed the information. You understand? So if you do that work of looking for unique opportunities, your chances of scholarships are higher. We're going to have a different session on scholarships in the next coming weeks. I think we have a session in May, right? We have a free webinar in May. I think we have a free webinar in May on that, right? So I want you to please use this conference hack to look for opportunities. Somebody says this webinar is super fast with information. Thank you. So Busola, you have to dig a little bit more, okay? I'm sure if you dig a little bit more, you will find the past speakers. You will absolutely, Toby, there's so much funding for AI right now. You absolutely need to continue to look, but you cannot just submit an application for AI, a scholarship for AI, without showing why you as an African is bringing something different to the table from anybody else all around the world. Why shouldn't the opportunity go to someone in China? Why should it go to you? Okay? All right, so I'm moving on. So if you've been admitted multiple times without funding, good. We've talked about, well, the LinkedIn hack is similar, but I'm not going to go into it. I would say use the conference hack. Identify funding opportunities before you apply. I've talked about this. For example, if you know that Harvard doesn't give a scholarship for biochemistry, why are you applying there when you've seen that University of Michigan does? Okay, so go to where there's money and follow and submit your application there. There's also something we call scholarship stacking, and this is the strategy of applying to multiple different types of scholarships, so that even if you don't get everything, right? If you don't get all your scholarships from one source, you have multiple sources that can help you put your application together. So I may not have the opportunity to go into it in as much detail, but scholarship stacking is definitely something you need to consider, in that you might get an assistantship, a fellowship, a scholarship, different scholarships that you add on top of each other, and that would make your education more affordable. So I'm going to hand it over to our friends at PESA, who are going to tell you a little bit about PESA. And then after this, their introduction to PESA and the PESA Scholars Program, we'll talk a little bit more about practical essay reviews, and we'll do some before and after. So my friends at PESA, or should I hand over to Jimmy? Take it away.
Wow. If you've not been writing, I'm sorry. Even I, that work we getting, I have my notes here. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see it? I have my notepad and I have my pen as well. And I've been scribbling everything Miriam has been talking about since the inception of this meeting. It is packed. Trust me. A lot of the things she even said were not part of the things we agreed on. But I'm super glad that you guys are trying to utilize everything she has been talking about. And right now, I'm going to invite our partners from PESA. They've been patiently waiting. They are the reasons why we are here. They made this possible. And I'll be calling on Christiana Omo. I hope I got that correctly. We have her from PESA.
All right.
Christiana, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is
Good
Christiana.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, and it's really good to be here. Thank you, Miriam, for the insightful session. I'm the customer support manager at PESA, and I'm here basically to let you know about PESA and answer any questions that you may have. PESA is a company, we're formerly known as PESA Peer. So sometimes you may hear PESA, you may hear PESA Peer, but we are still the same company. Our current brand name is PESA, and we are basically a digital cross-border financial service provider. We're founded by 4 innovative minds from Nigeria. And we're conceived from a simple idea to create a platform that will bridge the gap between unfavorable exchange rates and also the risks that is associated with informal money transfer. Where there's no security of funds and you could, be at risk of losing your entire money. At PESA, our mission basically is to localize the global money transfer experience, right? So you agree with me that there's a gap between, the experience of sending money locally, meaning within the same country, and sending money across borders, right? So at PESA, what we believe here is that sending and receiving money across borders should be seamless as sending money within the same country, right? For instance, I have a bank account in Nigeria. I live in Nigeria, and I want to send money to my sister in Nigeria too, right? That experience is seamless. So we want to translate that also to the global money transfer area, right? So that's why we are committed here to make global money transfer have the same local experience, right? That you will have when you're sending money locally in whatever country you are in. So for the international community, right, at PESA, for the international community, right, we understand that when you relocate to a new country for maybe employment or education or whatever the case may be, it's a really, really challenging experience, right? And one of the concerns basically is currency conversion, right? Sending money back home, or even receiving money for students, receiving money from home to pay your tuition fees, for your upkeep and the rest, right? So that's more like the basic concerns for immigrants, right? And what are we here to do, right? We are here to, to make sure that we manage this for you, right? To securely manage the currency conversion for you, so that you don't fall into victim of exorbitant rates, high fees, hidden fees, and even the risk of losing your entire money, right? So I just here basically to offer seamless international transactions, enabling you to send money, whether you're in Canada, you're in Nigeria, or in the UK, to over 50 countries seamlessly. The next slide, please. Okay, thank you. No, sorry, previous one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so for the international community also, you can actually save with PESA, right? At PESA, we've been able to, integrate a lot of security measures, right, to make sure that your money is safe, right? Once you keep your money on in your PESA account, you are rest assured that nobody has access to the money, right? It's just the account holder. So you can confidently and conveniently save with PESA, right? We don't, there's no hidden charge anywhere. So whatever you keep there, that's what you're going to get when you come back in 3 months, in 6 months, as the case may be. And at PESA, what other things do we actually offer here? We offer the best exchange rates. So you can be certain to enjoy the competitive exchange rates, the most competitive exchange rates available in the market. We also offer zero charges. Whether you're sending money, you're receiving money, rest assured that there are no charges, no hidden charges whatsoever. Okay, sorry, I was muted. Okay, please can you go back to the previous slide? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so talking about the charges, we offer zero charges. So whether you're sending money out or you're receiving money, there are no charges incurred, right? We also offer multi-currency wallets, which just a single account. You can own multi-currency wallet. You can own wallets in different currencies. For instance, if you register as a Nigerian customer, you can own a Canadian wallet, right, and use the wallet to transact, convert Naira to Canadian dollars to transact, and the rest. We also offer transparent pricing. Same with the zero charges, right? Our pricing is transparent. In fact, at the point of you transacting, there's a page where you see the currency you're transacting from and the one you're exchanging to. You understand? And exchange rate is there. So the pricing is transparent, and there's no hidden fee or anything. The exchange rate is even calculated automatically. You can do the manual calculation also, and you still get the same results basically. I think that's it for PESA. I saw some questions in the chats. Jimmy, do you mind if I take them? Okay.
You can go ahead, please.
Okay, someone asking about crypto. No, we don't do crypto. Does PESA help us receive foreign funds? Foreign funds, you can actually receive money in PESA wallets, right? And they are you can also own multi-currency wallets, right? If, for instance, you're a Nigerian customer, you can own a Canadian wallet, and that wallet can be funded, right? So yeah, you can receive foreign funds. I think that's and PESA, the PESA app is also seamless to use. Okay, the PESA app is also seamless to use, right? So you can download it on the Google Play Store. Just type PESA. You just see the formerly known as PESA here. iOS App Store also. Just search for us there and download it. The onboarding process is quite seamless and straightforward. And we also have a responsive customer support team that is there to attend to you whenever you have any issue, any questions, or you need assistance in any way. Yeah, thank you. So I'll hand over to Oge. Oge will take the scholarship part.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Jimmy and Miriam. I thoroughly am enjoying this session, even as a partner myself, so I can't even imagine. It's so helpful. So to talk about the PESA Scholars Program, we decided to partner with Getting, seeing as our values are very much aligned, because the goal really is to make the life of students or immigrants just seamless, giving people opportunities to dare to go further. Everyone is looking for how to be better. If it's through schooling, whatever the opportunity you have that presents itself. And that was why we created the Special Scholars Program, to be a part of your journey and also give you that push, so you don't have to worry about the little, even if it's just the first steps to achieving your goals, money for application, the application fees, or even paying for the boot camp, getting that guidance that you need. So for example, you might even have the desire to go for your postgraduate study, your graduate studies, but you're also thinking of, where do I even start from? And that is where PESA Getting comes in, basically guiding you from step 1 to step 2 through the entire process, just so that you can achieve your dreams. So the PESA Scholars Program is offering 160 Canadian dollars for your application fees, and 3 months of the graduate boot camp with Getting, as well as 3 consultation calls and essay reviews, CV reviews, and just that personal touch with Getting. You can see how valuable this webinar is. Now, just imagine having access to the boot camp, having access to call Miriam, her guiding you through your entire application process. So this is what the PESA program is all about. You can see the screen on how to apply and also how to download the app. Like my colleague Christiana has said, you can download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store and use the referral code Getting Edu. And if you meet the eligibility criteria, Getting will do the needful. So thank you so much to everyone, and thank you to our partners Getting as well.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Ogechi. And okay, Miriam.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much to our partners, Ogechi, our representatives of our partners at PESA, Ogechi and Christiana, for taking this very brief section. I just wanted to emphasize that this application closes 30th of April. So you still have a few days to apply. It is very straightforward. You just have to answer a few questions, and as much as possible, answer honestly. And let me tell you something. If you attended this webinar, there is no reason why you shouldn't win. Like,
Okay.
I would look out for those of you that apply from today. I'll be very strict with you people when I see your applications, or I'll tell the consultants to be very strict, because you have no excuse not to win. And for those who, think the application fee to the bootcamp is too much, this is an opportunity where you don't have to pay shishi. You just join. We'll be picking 5 people. PESA has paid for you. They're going to be, they have a big plan for you guys. So please, and please, listen carefully. Miriam is going to go into a very exciting section now. So please listen carefully and absorb every information as possible from what she'll be talking about, especially on how to write your essays. How should you present yourself? How should you stand out?
Yeah.
It is very important, because for this application for the PESA Scholars Program, these are things we're going to be looking out for. So if you have not applied, go ahead, follow the instructions and apply. Our team will drop the link in the chat box and you can apply. So best of luck. Off to Miriam.
Amazing. Thanks again, PESA. As I said, I get it. Like, I know, like, and this is why this partnership is so important to us. It's important to invest in your future, but sometimes even that initial investment is difficult. But the one thing I want to say is that even by you being here, actually, you've already started to make that investment in yourself. So don't think about investment only in, in terms of money. Think about it in time, right? So take the time, apply for the program. Hopefully you get in. If you don't get in, I hope you can still join us, but we're going to continue our best to find ways to make sure that our programs are still accessible to as many people as possible. So now we're going to go into one of my favorite parts, which is where you become experts as well. And we're going to review just a few essays, and then I'm going to take the time, but selecting 5 people. PESA is going to select 5 people. And you would find out, I think, very, very soon. So if you don't get a congratulations email, then please make sure you join us before the bootcamp is over. So we're going to be reviewing a couple of essays. And I want us to do this critically. Again, if you're not engaging, you're not going to learn. So let's do this critically. Now, this is an essay that somebody submitted. This is their introduction. It says, I believe that the most pressing challenge of humankind, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, is effective and efficient leadership, organization, and management of resources. Knowingly, the education sector in Nigeria lacks the leadership credibility of the 21st century that is needed for innovation, growth, and development. Sequel to the SDGs, it is vital to ensure quality education that promotes lifelong learning opportunities. Still, the Nigerian education system is yet to function in retrospect of this memo. Let's do it first together, although I already have some thoughts. What are your thoughts about this introduction? Because I know many of us have submitted essays like this with lots of grammar. What's wrong with this introduction? What's wrong with this introduction? You can do it. I've already given you some hints, but I want to...
Even having listened to the person, I believe that there are basically 3 things that an introduction should do. One of them is hook. A hook is a statement that you push out there to capture the attention of your listener or your reader, your audience.
Yep.
Another thing you should have is thesis statement. Thesis statement is a strategic or carefully written summary of what the entire write-up is going to center on. So it's like your center statement. And then another thing is a supporting sentence. So having read the entire introduction, you could just get tired already. So it doesn't have a hook. It's not capturing our attention. We don't even know exactly where they are going.
Yeah.
And the most important part of introduction is even the thesis statement. It's something that applies to all forms of writing. By the time we are done reading your introduction, we should know exactly what we should be expecting. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Juliet, for that. And not only have you've spoken more to the structure of an introduction, and that's absolutely right. Like, this is something to think about. What exactly is the message that I'm passing across? But not only that, let me see what else people have said. They said it's too long, it's vague, it sounds crowded, ambiguity, it's not specific. The introduction just highlighted the problem. No conceptualization, no direction, lacks contextualization, no data, too vague, too much to grasp, lacks personality. I love that. I think a lot of us write essays that lack personality. That is the biggest challenge in the way most of us write essays. The first way you can stand out when you are writing an application essay is to put in personality. I know you might think it's to put big English. You might think it's to do something else. This key to standing out. Obviously, there are other things you're going to do, like conceptualization and things like that. But for your introduction specifically, your assignment is to make sure that your introduction has personality and it's captivating. That is the task at hand. Okay? It's not captivating. I believe, okay? It starts on a negative. Introduction is good, can be concise, it's boring. I agree, Miriam. it's extremely boring. The first is generic, starting on a negative tone, not centered on something specific. It doesn't relate to what the speaker's goal is. It is a generic statement. How does it relate to the speaker, or why are they suited for the scholarship? So we're not going to be able to go definitely into the entire thing here, but let's look at something that has changed. And I'm going to tell you the good things that's working in this introduction. Now, it says in Nigeria, over 2 million school-aged children are out of school every year. With immediacy, we can tell what this person's challenge is, what they're trying to solve, right? We can see that they care about. So one of the ways personality, I can talk a little bit about personality a bit, but again, this is, maybe we might have a session on like proper like essay reviews, because there's a lot that we've discussed today. But you know, with immediacy, you can tell what their challenge is and what they're going to try to solve. So that can be sort of like the thesis statement of this introduction. In Nigeria, over 2 million school-age children are out of school every year. This is what I'm about, guys. I'm about these 2 million students who are out of school. Not only that, there's personality in here. There's a human touch. There is a story here. It says, in 2015, I was one of them. That's so powerful. You've said the problem. You've shown that you have a reason, right? We're talking about when people are giving scholarships, they have a limited amount of money. They're looking for the people who will be the best bet for their money. This person, in a sentence or two, has shown them the problem, has shown them why they care about the problem. Are you guys seeing it? They've shown the problem and why they care. It's not enough to highlight a problem. When you're writing a statement of purpose, listen to it. It's called a statement of purpose. Here is my purpose. Here is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Here is why I'm studying molecular biology. Here is why I'm studying geontology. Here is why I want to do trade law. You must always, always, always show why what you're planning to do is personal to you. In 2015, I was one of them. My mother, a petty trader, could barely raise the funds to pay my fees. The Academy for Success program, born through a collaboration and partnership between the educational board and my school, was the magic that changed my life. Even I already have goosebumps just reading this, right? I'm already like, oh my gosh, this person has a story. They have a purpose. How can I support them? You want to write your essays in a way that the person that is reading it is going to be like, is it that person that wasn't able to go to school? It doesn't mean you need to have a sub story, by the way. It's not about having a sub story, but this is this person's story. You want to create champions out of the people who are reading your essay. And you can only do that by telling your story. Telling your story, inserting yourself into the problem. That's right, Emanuela. They should be able to imagine, Demola, this is personality. This right here you're seeing is personality. Personality that is embedded within the story. There are different ways to do personality. One of my favorite methods for putting in personality is humor. And I teach this in the bootcamp, how to do it. You write your essay in such a way that the person who is reading it, they've forgotten themselves. They've enjoyed themselves. They have laughed. They have cackled. They have picked the important information. At the end of the day, they've forgotten themselves. They just have no choice but to put you in the pile of good essays, because you have drawn them in using the tool of humor. But humor is not something that I recommend for people who are newbies. You need to know how to do the humor right. The easiest one is inserting yourself in this story. I love this. And the person has said this without denigrating their country, without insulting their country. And that's another thing I see in our essays. You say Nigeria is a country of abject poverty, and the people you denigrate where you are from. If you denigrate where you are from, why should someone respect it? So for those of you who are highlighting problems, I'm not saying you shouldn't highlight the problems, but do it in a way that doesn't, or some of you write essays, and I've seen this. You say, I want to study at the University of Michigan because I will have access to top-notch laboratory equipment, which I don't have access to in my country. Why? Even if that is true, you don't say that, because if you haven't had access to this lab equipment, how do they know you can actually use the one that you're going to get access to? So sometimes some of us, we've shot ourselves in the foot while trying to provide information. Right? So to be fair, Stephanie, your essay could either be like an academic essay or a statement of purpose. I'm focusing on a statement of purpose. So when I say essay, just imagine I'm saying a statement of purpose. Okay? So I hope you are picking some things you won't do next time. Right? So I really look at this as almost like a golden standard to draw them in. And then your next paragraph will then start to go into that story, being given the opportunity to, to further my education, blah, blah, blah. I studied this, and then I got this result. Obviously, you did well in school, and then ended up studying education because I wanted to be able to replicate the same thing. Specifically, my expertise is so and so type of education. Then you're going to do some contextualization and some of the other strategies, and then you end up with the conclusion that at the end of the day, the person who is reading it is rooting for you. And we'll see how that scholarship will actually change your life. Okay, fantastic. Again, it's a statement of purpose. Ask yourself, is the person who is reading this able to understand what is my purpose? It's not a statement of what I know. It's not a statement only of what I've done, although what you've done is part of it. It's a statement of purpose, looking forward, connected with looking backwards. Okay? Let's try one more because I want to leave the room for questions. So this is somebody's profile. This is Tomisi. 2 years experience, degree in chemical and polymer engineering. Our academic pursuits are geared towards a funded master's or PhD in chemical engineering with a specialization in materials or environmental sustainability. Tomisi didn't take the GRE test. She applied to several institutions, including Erasmus, University of Florida, Alabama State University, and Montclair State University. She received mostly rejections. The availability of funding opportunities primarily drives a focus on US schools. This is Tomisi's introductory-ish paragraph. Okay, let's read it together. It's a bit of a read, but let's spend some time here. My commitment to environmental pollution. Oh my goodness, is this almost 2 hours? Is it almost 2 hours? We've been here for almost 2 hours. Oh my goodness, guys, can I say thank you for being here for this long? We have most of everyone still with us, and that's fantastic. Let's quickly wrap up. Let's do this and then we can wrap up. My commitment to environmental pollution abatement began during my undergraduate research on particulate matter pollution in certain metropolis areas in Nigeria. Can you please write what is wrong with this essay? Can we write what is wrong here? My findings proved the presence of heavy metals from vehicular and other physical areas in the area and revealed the harmful conditions many families live in without pollution awareness or policy regulations to protect them from the terrible health implications of ingesting poisonous elements. The study was concluded by recommending practical remediation actions and resulted in the publication of 2 papers, also earning me recognition as the top thesis defense student in the department with a passing grade of 96%. Beyond the study, my deep interest became especially aligned with providing solutions to environmental sustainability challenges around me. This prompted me to take courses to understand the dynamics of waste, pollution, and circular economy, and led me to work in sustainability research and operations excellence developing practical solutions that enhance sustainability and manufacturing industries in Nigeria. What is wrong? Too long, okay? Personal accolades, poor structure, paragraph is too long, break down into readable paragraphs. Putting the cart before the horse, too bulky, not catchy, yeah? Looks like she's already a big girl. Chioma. So it looks like she's already a big girl that doesn't need a scholarship in life. Is verbose, sounding like a bot. English, 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 no oomph. Before we critique this, I want to say that this person, from my initial assessment, is highly qualified. Do you guys get that as well? Do you guys get that she knows what she's talking about? Do you guys get that probably has a very good resume? I can get all of that from this. So this is not a bad essay. I can get that this person knows what they're doing, but that oomph exactly is missing. That captivation, that playing on the psychology of the person who is reading it, for them to root for you, isn't there. The structure is showing as if you are writing a memo in your office, not that you're applying for a competition. Okay? So we need to think critically. How do we fix this? I also think there's no story. Inserting themselves in the story is extremely important. But you need to also learn strategies that you're not inserting yourself in the story and you're just telling stories all through and you're not going into your technical competence. So let's see, we did a little bit of massaging, and even the next one still requires some work, but we changed the story a little bit, okay? Exactly, she sounds like she was researching and reporting a research outcome. Now let's try this. Can one person make a change? I have always believed so. And this mindset has fueled my career in environmental advocacy. The first thing is I am curious about this person. From the first 5-6 words, I'm curious about this person. Can one person make a change? They're asking me a question. They have drawn me into the story. People are not playing, guys, people aren't playing games. This is a scholarship we're talking about. So you have to come correct. Can one person make a change? I have always believed so. And this mindset has fueled my career in environmental advocacy. I grew up in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria, known for its crude oil mining. I witnessed firsthand the devastation crude oil mining inflicted upon my community. The scarcity of clean water, loss of marine life, and the displacement of my family fueled my determination to pursue a degree in chemical and polymer engineering. I was determined to understand the technicalities of crude oil mining so I could contribute towards finding better alternatives. There is a purpose. Can you see the purpose already? We've not even gone to the end of the essay. I know this person. I know who they are. I know what they're about. Are we together? Now, not only that, they're bringing in some of that evidence, okay, which is also important. So there's a part of your essay that would need to have it's not all about stories, you need the evidence. My journey towards environmental advocacy was further fueled by my undergraduate research, which focused on assessing material pollution in Nigerian urban areas. This pivotal study not only produced actionable recommendations for remediation, but resulted into the publication of 2 influential papers. Recognized as a top thesis defense student with my contribution to environmental sustainability deepened. Subsequently, I pursued specialized coursework, delving into waste management, pollution dynamics, and circular economy principles. This passion propelled me into roles within sustainable research and operational excellence, where I actively engineer solutions to enhance environmental resilience within Nigeria's manufacturing sector, whatever, right? So in as much as, I still think there's a bit of work in terms of there's a bit of more of a story of how she moved into manufacturing, right? And she's also going to need to close in the loop, but this just shows a different approach, even though it's the same person. Okay, so look at this fantastic feedback for PESA. I love that. I hope you guys have this. Thanks, Ire. And thank you. Thank you for joining. Because when we bring on partners, we want our partners to also see value. So make sure you are downloading the PESA app. So guys, those are just some tips that we wanted to give you. We're almost out of time, but I wanted to take the opportunity to give you guys encouragement, because a lot of times it's not enough for you to see me. Let me remove my glasses so we can look at each other's eyes. It's not enough to see me. You need to keep the dream alive. If I were to ever write a book, my first book would be about dreaming, right? Because if you can't dream, you cannot be what you can't dream. Okay? So look at Dawn. Dawn got the dad. This is our community. This is our bootcamp. You can see all the comments, all the likes and everything. You know, she was nominated for one of the scholarships this week on Tuesday, and she got awarded the Dad Scholarship. She also got the Leadership for Africa Scholarship. She received a visa on her way, right? This is someone who joined our community just like you. This is Pius. Pius got an LLM fellowship from Vermont Law School for his graduate studies for his master's, right? And got another one actually for University of Arkansas. These are people just like you. Esther also got the Dad Scholarship. You know what I love is the fact that Esther and Christine and Dawn are chatting. And that's why a community is important. They're like, oh, you got the dad, I got the dad too. And they're going to see each other at the dinner. This, again, I don't know how else I can emphasize it. If you take what we teach, my wish and where I believe getting is going is for people like PESA to say, we're going to sponsor the bootcamp for 1,000 people. PESA, do you hear that? That's where we're going by God's grace, right? But until we get there, you have to put value. And I've also found that sometimes if you get something for free, you don't value it. And that's why we will always have some kind of entry points, because we want people who are serious. Imagine if this was a group, right? And everybody was here. We have people here who their mindset is not aligned. So there always has to be some form of entry. This is one of our cohorts for our bootcamp. They got a Notre Dame Esteemed Scholarship. They got 13K in scholarships, and they also went to ask for more. They got $27,000 more. We have a strategy we teach you for how to ask for more scholarships. If you get a particular amount of money is not enough, we teach you how to go and get more. And this is somebody who got more. Another person got into Penn State Law, full scholarship. They also got into USC and UC Berkeley. These are people in our bootcamp. And this review speaks for itself. The program was a wholesome experience, right? So guys, we have so many stories like this. I'm not going to take your time. And I want you guys to wait behind. Usually when the recording stops, I stay around for a few minutes because I want to chat with people. I want you to put on your cameras. I want us to talk one-on-one. Okay? So I want you to apply for the PESA program. If you, let me go back to the slide. Apply for the PESA program if you qualify, right? So that you can join us. But if you know for a fact, you're like, you know what, I don't want to take I don't want to take the risk. Let me just join right away, because our early bird pricing is closing in 48 hours. Okay? So please apply to the PESA program if you can. You still have 3 days to a few days, more than 3 days. What's today's date? Today is 27. No, you have 3 days to apply. But if you know that you're ready to join us, you don't want to wait 1 second, right? You're ready to change your story, please join our bootcamp. The bootcamp, I'm going to give you details and exactly what it entails. So early bird pricing is $85,000. And what you're going to learn in the bootcamp is, and all the information you need will be in the comment section. You're going to learn practical strategies. You think we've taught you stuff here? My goodness. The bootcamp goes into every conceivable thing about this graduate school application process. From your CV, how you should structure it, a step-by-step. There's no way I can teach everything, even if I have a 5-hour webinar. Before, we used to have webinars for our bootcamp, but we had to turn it into an online course because the information was too much. And we need you to have access to it so that you can go back to it. So from all your application documents, how to put it together in a way that it is compelling, in a way that even you will begin to have the confidence that I have. I keep telling everyone, there's nothing I apply for I won't get. Except I'm not meant to get it because the universe has said this is not your opportunity right now. But I know that I put it documents together so good, I will get, I don't care. Even if there are 10,000 people that apply, So far, my application is there. I will be selected because I know what to do. And I've taught you everything I know. I've put it in the bootcamp. So you also learn how to choose the right school, the right course, right? You would also, some of us, we are focused on the grad school. We're not thinking about what happens after. You're going to make your decisions from a strategic point of view. When I was applying for my PhD, I only applied to Canada for obvious reasons. So you're not going to be throwing your applications any and everywhere for no reason. You're going to be applying in a very focused way that it will help you achieve. You remember that your why? It will help you achieve that your why. Links to join are going to be in the comments. You're going to find how to apply for hidden scholarships. I was going to tell you guys a story, and I was saying that, and for the people who know me here, I'm not shading you or anything. It's just a fact. One of the things I've found that happens in my community of people is that I'm usually the first person to do something, and then other people do it. Let me explain to you. So when I applied for my PhD, I'm the first person I know who attended the Harvard Institute of Global Law and Policy workshop. Immediately the year after I applied, I would always post it on social media, other people are applying, and the competition has increased. Everybody is looking for the information that is easily accessible. Nobody wants to go and dig to find a unique opportunity. The moment you change your mindset, women in Africa, I applied. I don't know anyone in my circle that has gotten this before. But I found the opportunity and I applied. Now, people are reaching out to me, Miriam, can you help me review my essay? I want to apply for this. I want to apply for this because I've made it prominent within my circle. What am I trying to say? You cannot wait for Twitter to tell you about a scholarship. If you are waiting to find a scholarship that you're eligible for on Twitter, it's too late. I don't know if you understand me. It's too late. The scholarships you need to find, the opportunities you need to find are the ones that require you to search in a different way. You're going to learn how to be ahead of the curve in the bootcamp. You're going to learn how to be way ahead of the curve, such that by the time you've gotten your offer, that's when people realize that, oh, I can actually go to University of Michigan because you've gotten the right information. If you think your background is not competitive, maybe you have a 2-2 or a third class, or I haven't won any scholarships or any awards, how do you build a competitive profile? We teach you that. How do you build a competitive profile that they will pick you over somebody who had a first class? How do you get into Ivy League universities? What are those top schools looking for? Harvard and Cambridge and Oxford is not for only certain people. Initially, I used to think so, but it's for everyone who dares and puts in the work, right? So what are those Ivy League schools looking for? And I'm talking to you from personal experience. As much as I had a first class, best graduating student, Harvard rejected me. And I always thought I was Harvard material, but I didn't know how to apply to Harvard. But once I learned what they're looking for, every year we have students in Harvard without fail. We have students in Oxford without fail. So if you also have low grades, we'll also teach you how to get scholarships and opportunities. This is a passion work. If we're to really, the bootcamp is staying at this price. People who didn't join last year, they're like, oh, the price has increased. You should have joined last year because we don't know what's going to happen next year. So please, I'm encouraging you guys, if you know that you want to do this in a community, as I said, we're going to pause and stop the recording. I'm going to take some questions. If you know you want to do this with a community, you want to do this with knowledge, you want to do this with insight, you want to do this and you don't want to be tired, please, please, please follow the link, join us. We're going to start June 7, okay? The early bird price will end in 48 hours. And after that, did our team extend it? Did you guys extend it to May 5? Because it's supposed to be 48 hours. Oh, I don't know. My team, you know, I'm the one working for them as my team. Guys, did you guys extend it to May 5? It's 48 hours, I'm aware of. Oh. So please, I don't know if my team can convince me perhaps, but as at now, you know, okay, they said it's May 5. Ah, I see. Okay, fine. We'll leave it at May 5. So the early bird price closes May 5th and it goes to 100,000. So please, if you want to join, don't delay. And this year, I've told the team there's going to be a cap because we want to make sure that the people that we join us, we can support. So once we have the number of people that we want to work with this year, it's closed. So because we want to make sure that we're really building a community. And next year, I think one of the things we might do is also include an application element so that we can be sure that the people who are joining are the people who really need this and are going to be committed. Okay, so guys, I'm going to answer your questions now. If you're looking to join the bootcamp, I want to thank PESA so much for sponsoring this webinar. I really appreciate the commitment, and I'm just gonna, PESA hasn't asked me to do this, but if you're doing, if you're considering, if either you have people abroad or you're abroad, PESA is actually one of the best platforms you can use, right, to send money. It's such a seamless platform. The fees are transparent. The exchange rate is competitive. So please make sure that you download PESA. So the bootcamp is 3 weeks of self-paced online learning. So it's an online program, 3 weeks, and then you join an accountability group where we continue to monitor progress. Throughout the 2 months of an accountability program, you get to join different webinars like this. We do essay reviews, have discussions, and things like that. So it's really a community. So the next thing we're going to talk about is your questions, okay? And the one point I wanted to make about PESA before I move on is that PESA actually reached out to us about this opportunity. And I think when you see a brand that actually cares about people, that's so solid. Like they reached out and said, get in, we like what you're doing. How can we support you? So I want us to smash PESA with lots of downloads. I want us to go to their page. I want us to like their follow them. I want us to like their post and everything. And everywhere you see PESA, always remember that they're investing in the youth. Okay. So now questions. If you've sent a question before, do we stop the recording so that we can answer the questions? I think let's do that because I think if you're here, you deserve to get